Oh no, looks like I'm about to lose this round. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're running some exciting playtests. Let's travel back to the return to Ravnica and Theros block standard format. I'll be piloting my mazes and homebrew deck against the top pro tour decks of this era. I'm using Cardforge for the matches, with the AI set to random and even cheating mode to really crank up the challenge. I grabbed some classic Pro Tour Theros standard lists from mtgdecks.net, Mono Blue Aggro, Gruul Midrange, Mono Black Control, and Mono Red Aggro to see how my build stacks up. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the playtest action. The AI can't access Chandra, Pyromaster this time. Mono Red's on the play, I keep my opener. Mountain, pass. Draw a Detention Sphere, play green-white Guildgate tap, pass. Another land, casts Ash Zealot with haste, swings for 2, pass. Draw Sphinx's Revelation, play Simic Guildgate tap, pass. Land, attacks with Zealot for 2, adds Boros Reckoner, pass. Draw Maze's End, play it tap, pass. Draws, attacks for 5 total, plays Frostburn Weird, pass. Draw Riot Control, play Ors of Guildgate tap, pass. Land into Perforos, God of the Forge, attacks for 6. In response casts Fog, prevents all combat damage. Mono Red passes. Draw another Maze's End, play Plains, pass. Ember Swallower hits the battlefield, Perforos pings for 2, swings for lethal. Riot Control in response to prevent damage and gain 5 life. Draw another Fog effect, play Maze's End, pass. Another Ember Swallower, Perforos triggers for 2, allowed attack. Druid's Deliverance blanks combat. Draw Gruul Guildgate, play it tap, pass. Land, Storm Breath Dragon enters, Perforos triggers. Full swing, this time no answer, game over. Mono Red takes game 1. I consider siding in blind obedience but decide to stick with the default build. I'm on the play. I keep my opening hand and drop mazes and tapped, then pass. She draws, plays a mountain, and passes. I draw a Detention Sphere, play Hallowed Fountain tap, pass. She draws, drops Nykthos, passes. I draw Dissolve, play Is It Guildgate, pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Burning Tree Emissary, floats 1 red and 1 green mana, but passes the turn. I draw Druid's Deliverance. Oh, no land this turn. I pass. She draws, plays a land, swings for 2, then casts Boros Reckoner. I respond with Dissolve, countering it and scrying 1. I leave Temple of Mystery on top. She passes. I draw the Temple, play it tapped, scry 1, keep Island on top, pass. She draws, plays a land, attacks for 2 again, casts Boros Reckoner, and passes. I draw Island, play it, pass, and step she Magma Jets me for 2 and scries 2. On her turn she swings for 5, I'm at 9. She then casts Ember Swallower and passes. At her end step I activate Maze's End, bounce it to my hand, fetch Azorius Guildgate tap to set up Supreme Verdict next turn. I draw Cyclonic Rift, replay Maze's End, cast Supreme Verdict, wipe the board, and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Frostburn Weird, passes. I draw Elspeth, cast her, +1 to make 3 1/1 soldiers, pass. She draws, plays Perforos, swings Frostburn at Elspeth. I block with a token. She passes. I draw Dimir Guildgate, play it, swing to damage with soldiers. +1 Elspeth for 3 more soldiers, then Detention Sphere on Perforos, pass. She draws, casts Magma Jet on Elspeth for 2 and scries 2, then swings Frostburn at Elspeth. I block with a token, pass. I draw Ors of Guildgate, play it, swing all tokens for damage, +1 Elspeth for 3 more soldiers, pass. She draws, swings Frostburn at Elspeth for 1, I block, then casts Boros Reckoner and passes. I draw Celestia Guildgate, play it tapped, swing all tokens. She blocks with Reckoner, pings Elspeth for 1, but still takes 5, +1 Elspeth for 3 soldiers, pass. She draws, swings at Elspeth for 4, I block each with a token. Reckoner pings Elspeth for 1 again, and step I activate Maze's End for Rakdos Guildgate. I draw Sphinx's Revelation, replay Maze's End, swing with 6 tokens for 6 damage. She's at 3, Plus 1 Elspeth for 3 more soldiers. Pass. She draws and plays Mutavo. I draw Temple, play it tapped, scry 1 bottom verdict, then swing with all my soldiers for lethal. I win game 2, I'll stick with the default deck for the decider. Game 3, she's on the play. I keep. Turn 1, she plays Mountain, passes. I draw Dissolve, play Temple of Mystery, scry 1 bottom of Forest, pass. Turn 2, she draws, plays Land, casts Ash Zealot, swings for 2, passes. I draw Plains, play Breeding Pool, tap, pass. Turn 3, she draws, casts another Zealot, swings for 4, passes. I draw Cyclonic Rift, play Plains, pass. Turn 4, she draws, attacks for 4, casts Burning Tree Emissary. I dissolve it, scry Jace to the bottom, pass. I draw Maze's End, play Simic Guildgate, pass. Turn 5, she draws, plays Land, swings for 4. Then Magma jets me for 2. I'm at 4, pass. I draw another Cyclonic Rift, play Maze's End, tap, pass. Turn 6, she draws, plays Land, swings for lethal. In response I cast Riot Control, prevent damage, gain to life. Main to she casts Ember Swallower, pass. I draw Temple Garden, chalk it in untapped, cast Supreme Verdict to wipe the board, pass. Turn 7, she draws, casts Boros Reckoner, pass. I draw Druid's Deliverance, pass. Turn 8, she draws, attacks with Reckoner for 3. I Druid's Deliverance in response. She casts double Frostburn Weird, passes. I activate Maze's End, fetch Azorius Guildgate, tapped. Turn 9, I draw Temple, play Maze's End, tap, pass. She draws, full swing for lethal. I Cyclonic Rift 1 Weird, bounce another, still drop to 1 life. She casts Burning Earth, pass. Turn 10, I draw Temple, play it tap, scry 1, keep Celestia Guildgate on top, pass. She draws, plays Land, casts Storm Breath Dragon with haste, swings. I can't stop it. I lose game 3. She had the sideboarded Burning Earth this match. I'm on the play. I take a mulligan, put a Temple on the bottom, and keep my hand. I play Maze's End and pass. She draws, plays Temple of Silence, and passes. I draw Druid's Deliverance, play a Gruul Guildgate tapped, and pass. She draws, plays Mutavo, and passes. I draw another Druid's Deliverance, play a Plains, and pass. She draws, enchants her Temple with Underworld Connections, and passes. I draw Rakdos Guildgate, play it tapped, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, attacks for 2, then plays another Temple, and passes. I draw Temple of Mystery, play it to scry 1, putting another Temple on the bottom, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, and hits me for 2. I draw a Forest, play it, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, swings for 2, then in main to cast Thoughtseize, taking Riot Control, loses to life, and passes. I activate Maze's End and fetch an Azorius Guildgate. I draw Supreme Verdict, replay Maze's End, and pass. She draws, plays a land, activates Mutavo, attacks for 2, and passes. I draw Fog and simply pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, and swings for 2. I activate Maze's End, fetching a Simic Guildgate. I draw another Maze's End, play it, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, and swings for 2, then casts Pact Rat and passes. I draw another Fog, play another Maze's End, and pass. She draws, activates Pact Rat, discarding a card to make a token, activates Mutavo, and attacks for 5. I respond with Fog. She passes. I activate Maze's End, fetching a Celestia Guildgate. I draw Dissolve, play Maze's End, cast Detention Sphere on Pact Rat, and pass. She draws, plays a land, activates Mutavo, and swings for 2, then casts Desecration Demon and passes. I activate Maze's End, fetching an Izzet Guildgate. I draw Supreme Verdict, play Maze's End, then cast Supreme Verdict to wipe the board. She draws, activates Mutavo, attacks for 2, and in main to casts Whip of Erebos, then passes. I activate Maze's End, fetching a Dimir Guildgate. I draw Elspeth, Sun's Champion, play Maze's End, cast Elspeth, activate +1 to create 3/1/1 soldiers, and pass. She responds with Hero's Downfall on Elspeth and Devour Flesh, forcing me to sacrifice a creature, and she gains 1 life. She draws a card and passes. I activate Mazes and fetching a Golgari Guildgate. I draw Sphinx's Revelation, play Mazes End, attack with 2 soldiers for 2, and pass. She draws, activates Whip, reanimates Desecration Demon with haste, activates Mutavo, and attacks for lethal. I cast Riot Control to prevent combat damage and gain 2 life, exiling her demon at end step. I activate Mazes and fetching a Boros Guildgate. I draw another Mazes and play it. I then activate Mazes End to fetch an Orzhov Guildgate, completing all 10 Guildgates on the battlefield and winning via the Mazes End alternate win condition. I board out to Jace's and bring into Urban Evolution to help ramp. She's on the play and mulligans to 6. I keep my hand. She plays a temple and passes. I draw Fog, play a temple, keep Supreme Verdict on top, and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Pack Rat, and passes. I draw Supreme Verdict, play Mazes End, and pass. She draws, plays Mutavo, attacks with Pack Rat for 1, and passes. I draw a Plains, play a Guildgate, and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts another Pack Rat, activates Mutavo, and attacks. I cast Fog in response. She passes. I draw a Detention Sphere, play a Plains, cast Detention Sphere targeting Pack Rat, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, attacks me for 2, and passes. I draw a Guildgate, play it, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, attacks me for 2, and passes. I draw Cyclonic Rift, play a Simic Guildgate, and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, attacks me for 2, and passes. I activate Mazes and fetching a Celestia Guildgate. I draw Urban Evolution, play Mazes End, cast Urban Evolution, and draw 3 cards. At end step, I discard Sphinx's Revelation and pass. She draws, activates Mutavo, attacks me for 2, and passes. I draw Breeding Pool, play it tapped, and pass. She draws, plays another Mutavo, activates Mutavo, attacks me for 2, casts Zathrid Necromancer, and passes. In response, I cast Sphinx's Revelation for 4, drawing for cards and gaining for life. On my turn, I draw Elspeth, play a Golgari Guildgate, cast Elspeth, Sun's Champion, activate +1 to create 3/1/1 soldier tokens, and pass. At my end step, I discard a Forest and Supreme Verdict. On her upkeep, she casts Hero's Downfall on Elspeth. She draws, plays Temple of Silence, activates Mutavo, and attacks with Zathrid Necromancer and Mutavo for 4. I cast Fog in response. She passes. I draw another Supreme Verdict, play a Rakdos Guildgate, and pass. On her upkeep, she casts Devour Flesh. I sacrifice 1 token and gain 1 life. She activates 2 Mutavos, attacks for 6, I take 6, and she passes. I activate Mazes and fetching a Boros Guildgate. I cast Sphinx's Revelation for 2, drawing to and gaining to life. On my turn, I draw Dissolve, play Mazes End, attack with my tokens for 2, discard a temple at end step, and pass. She draws, activates 2 Mutavos, and attacks with Zathrid for 6 damage. I'm at 4 life. She casts Duress. I respond with Sphinx's Revelation for 7, drawing 7 and gaining 7 life. She chooses to discard Elspeth and passes. I draw Druid's Deliverance, play Jace, Architect of Thought, use -2 to pick pile 1, put the rest on the bottom, and pass. At end step, I discard 6 cards. On her upkeep, she casts Hero's Downfall on Jace. She draws, plays another Mutavo, activates 2 Mutavos, and attacks with Zathrid for 6. I respond with Druid's Deliverance for a Fog effect, populating 1 token. She passes. I activate Mazes and fetching an Orzhov Guildgate. I draw an Izzet Guildgate, play it, cast Urban Evolution, draw 3, play an additional land Mazes End, cast Detention Sphere on Zathrid, and pass. She draws, activates all her Mutavos, and attacks for 6. I respond with Riot Control to prevent combat damage and gain 3 life. She passes. I draw a temple, activate Mazes and fetching a Dimir Guildgate, and win the game by completing all 10 Guildgates on the battlefield. If you're having a good time with this video, Please like and subscribe, your support means a lot. Too bad the AI can't run Chandra or Xenagos. I'm on the play and keep my opening hand. I play mazes and pass. She draws, plays a forest, and passes. I draw dissolve, play a Golgari Guildgate, and pass. She draws, plays Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, casts Voyaging Satyr, and passes. I draw Druid's Deliverance, play an Izzet Guildgate, and pass. She draws, plays a land, attacks with her Satyr for 1, casts Burning Tree Emissary, floats mana, casts another Burning Tree Emissary, then casts another Voyaging Satyr, and passes. I draw another Maze's End, play it, and pass. She draws, plays Temple of Abandon to scry 1, and declares an all-out attack. In response, I cast Fog to prevent combat damage. She then activates Nykthos for 6 mana to cast Garruk, Caller of Beasts, uses the 3 ability to put Polychronos into play, and passes. I draw an Orzhov Guildgate, play it, and pass. She draws and launches a mass attack for 11 damage. I respond with Druid's Deliverance to prevent combat damage. She activates Garruk's +1 to look at her top 5 cards, chooses Burning Tree Emissary and casts it, then floats mana to cast Sylvan Caryatid and Elvish Mystic, and passes. I draw another Druid's Deliverance and pass. She draws, plays a land, and again swings with everything. I respond with Druid's Deliverance for another Fog effect. She activates Garruk's +1, chooses Arbor Colossus, casts it, and passes. I draw yet another Druid's Deliverance and pass. She draws, casts Nylea. God of the Hunt activates Garruk's +1 choosing Scavenging Ooze, casts it, then declares a lethal attack. I still respond with Druid's Deliverance to prevent combat damage. She passes. I draw a Simic Guildgate and pass. I'm out of answers. On her next turn, she swings again and wins the game. I board out to Jace, Architect of Thought 4 to blind Obedience. This deck is simply too fast. I lost the previous game, so I choose to play first. I mulligan, put Sphinx's Revelation on the bottom, and keep the rest. I play Temple Garden tapped and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Elvish Mystic, and passes. I draw Blind Obedience, play Hallowed Fountain paying to life, cast Blind Obedience, and pass. She draws, plays a land, attacks with Mystic for 1, then casts Burning Tree Emissary floating to mana and casts Voyaging Satyr, then passes. I draw an Azorius Guildgate, play it tapped, and pass. She draws, plays a temple, attacks for 4. In response, I cast Fog, preventing the damage and triggering Extort. Opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. She then casts Scavenging Ooze and passes. I draw Maze's End, play it, and pass. She draws, plays Nykthos, attacks, I take 6 damage. She casts Domri Raid, uses +1 ability, reveals Polychronos, and passes. I draw another Maze's End, play it, and pass. She draws, attacks for 6 damage. I respond with Riot Control, preventing all damage and gaining 4 life. In main to she plays a temple tapped, activates Domri's +1, reveals Polychronos, casts it, and passes. I draw Druid's Deliverance, play a Boros Guildgate, and pass. She draws and attacks me for a total of 11 damage. In main to she activates Domri's +1, reveals Voyaging Satyr, casts it, and passes. I activate Maze's End, fetching a Celestia Guildgate. I draw a Simic Guildgate, play Maze's End, and pass. She draws, swings for lethal. I cast Druid's Deliverance in response, triggering Extort for 1. She plays a temple, activates Domri's +1, and passes. I draw a dead card, not the supreme verdict I was hoping for. I'm dead on her next turn. Good game. Unfortunately, I can't play Triton Tactics. I choose to play first and keep my opening hand. I play a Gruul Guildgate and pass. She draws, plays a land, and passes. I draw Druid's Deliverance, play another Guildgate, and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Frostburn Weird, and passes. I draw Sphinx's Revelation. Unfortunately, I'm land routed this turn and simply pass. She draws, plays Thassa, God of the Sea, attacks with Frostburn Weird for 1, and passes. Still no land draw. I discard Sphinx's Revelation and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Bident of Thassa. Thassa becomes a creature and she attacks with Frostburn Weird for 6. I cast Fog in response. She passes. I draw a Guildgate, play it, and pass. On her upkeep she scries, draws a card, plays a land, casts Jace, Architect of Thought, and activates the 2 ability. I separate the piles. She takes Cloudfin Raptor and casts it. She attacks with Thassa and Frostburn Weird for 6. I respond with Fog. She passes. I draw a Detention Sphere and cast it targeting Thassa, then pass. She draws, plays a land, recasts Thassa triggering Cloudfin Raptor Evolve, then declares a mass attack. I don't block. She pumps Frostburn Weird for 2, dealing a total of 4 damage. Bidden triggers and she draws 2 cards. She then activates Jace's +1 and passes. Oh no, still no land draw. I just pass. She scries, draws a card, plays a land, and uses Jace's 2 again. I separate the piles. She chooses Master of Waves and casts it, creating 9 tokens thanks to her devotion. Cloudfin Raptor evolves. She then casts Omen Speaker to scry and attacks for 8. I respond with Fog. She passes. I draw an Orzhov Guildgate, play it, and pass. She scries, draws, casts another Master of Waves, creating 11 tokens, triggers Evolve again, and casts Nightveil Spectre. I respond with Druid's Deliverance to prevent damage, then she activates Jace's +1 and passes. I draw Maze's End, play it, and cast Supreme Verdict to wipe the board. Thassa survives. Pass. She scries, draws a card, plays a land, casts Judge's Familiar, and swings with Thassa for 5 no blocks. Bidden triggers and she draws a card, then activates Jace's +1. In main she casts Master of Waves, creating 7 tokens, then passes. I draw another Maze's End, play it, then pass. She scries, draws, plays a land. This is Deja Vu. Guys, I think I'm done this turn. Let's watch her move to overkill me. Haha. Out. 3 Jace, Architect of Thought. In. To Blind Obedience. 1 Pithing Needle. I decide to play first and keep my opening hand. I play a Gruul Guildgate and pass. She draws, plays an island, and passes. I draw Blind Obedience, play an Orzhov Guildgate, and pass. She draws, plays a land, and casts Omen Speaker to scry 2. I draw Riot Control, play a forest, cast Blind Obedience, and pass. She draws, plays a land, casts Thassa, and attacks with Omen Speaker for 1. Pass. I draw Sphinx's Revelation, play a Plains, and pass. She scries, draws, plays a land, and casts Frostburn Weird plus another Omen Speaker scry 2. Her devotion makes Thassa a creature. She attacks for 6. I take 6 damage. She passes. I draw a Golgari Guildgate, play it, and pass. She scries, draws, plays a land, and casts Cloudfin Raptor. She then swings all out for 8. In response I cast Riot Control to prevent the damage, gain 5 life, and trigger Extort for 1. She passes. I draw Elspeth, Sun's Champion, but have no land drop this turn. Pass. She scries, draws, and casts Cyclonic Rift on my Blind Obedience, returning it to my hand. She mass attacks. I again cast Riot Control to prevent damage and gain 5 life. She passes. I draw Druid's Deliverance. Still no land drop. Pass. She scries, draws, casts Judge's Familiar triggering Cloudfin Raptor Evolve, then mass attacks. I respond with Fog effects. She passes. I draw Temple Garden, play it and tap paying to life, cast Elspeth, Sun's Champion, and use her +1 to make 3 soldier tokens. Pass. She scries, draws, casts Nightveil Spectre triggering Raptor Evolve, then mass attacks Elspeth. I let Elspeth take all the damage. She passes. I draw Supreme Verdict. I attack with my 3 tokens. She blocks 1 and takes 2 damage. In main 2 I attempt to cast Supreme Verdict but realize I don't have blue mana. Geez, pass. She scries, draws, casts Master of Waves making 11 elemental tokens, then declares attackers. I take 15 damage and Nightveil Spectre exiles the top card of my library. I draw Breeding Pool, play it untap paying to life, and cast Supreme Verdict to wipe the board. Pass. She scries, draws, and casts Nightveil Spectre again. Pass. I draw a temple, play it, put a Rakdos Guildgate on the bottom, and cast Blind Obedience again. Pass. She scries, draws, plays a land, and attacks with Spectre for 2, exiling the top of my library. Pass. I don't have another blue source for Sphinx's Revelation. I draw Druid's Deliverance and pass. She scries, draws, attacks with Spectre for 2. In response I cast Druid's Deliverance for Fog and trigger Extort for 1. She passes. I draw a Celestia Guildgate, play it, and pass. She scries, draws, plays Cloudfin Raptor making this a creature again, and attacks for lethal. In response I cast Sphinx's Revelation for 5, drawing 5 and gaining 5. Spectre exiles the top of my library. She plays mazes and passes. I draw a plains, play an Izzet Guildgate, and pass. She scries, draws, casts Disperse on my Blind Obedience, and swings in with everything for lethal. I scoop. Thanks so much for watching this playtest. I love diving back into this old standard era. The nostalgia is real. Did you sleeve up a deck like this back in your LGS days? Drop your stories in the comments below. If you had fun watching, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming MTG videos. Hit the bell for notifications, and as always, happy shuffling.